Have you guys ever played Geometry Dash and then all of a sudden just wondered, how do you make a boss fight for classic mode? I mean, boss fights are honestly pretty cool. So today we're just gonna learn how to be really bad at Geometry Dash and we're gonna make a boss fight. It's gonna be a simple one. It's gonna be super duper beginner friendly so everybody could follow. I'm just gonna make a simple little boss fight for classic mode specifically. So now, first thing we want is we want to switch the game mode to the ship in here, and now if you start, it's gonna start at the ship. I'm just gonna add the song trigger just so that the song is completely muted because we don't really want to hear song as of right now. So we're gonna add a boss. We're also gonna make him like, you know, shoot a beam, like a very cool one with animations and everything. All right, so first thing is you want to click on here and just add this guy, and then click on edit group, next free, and add. What this does is it gave this specific monster the group ID of 1. And so now if we add a move trigger from this section, and then while it's green means it's selected, click on edit object and then go to 1 down here. This is the group ID, which means the monster is 1. We want that to follow the camera on the X and the camera on the Y. And now if you start, you guys are going to see that he followed the camera for 0.50 seconds. So however, we want him to always follow us, right? That's what we want. You could do this or do this, but trust me, there is a much better way to do that, and it's basically to type in -1, and this basically means infinite and it's gonna last forever. So perfect. Now we have a guy, he's following us, and it's all pretty cool games and fun. How we're gonna make him shoot stuff. So there are infinite ways you could do this, but we're gonna take the simple approach of deadlock, and maybe we're gonna make him kind of rotate a bit because that's more advanced, and we're gonna just add a bit more like 2.2-ish style to it just to make it very fresh. So first thing I would say is let's determine the width of the attack that he's going to do. So I'm gonna use the glow objects, which you can find under the spikes over here, and I'm just gonna draw out a section like that. I would say let's start with a 5 block, so 1 2 3 4 5, add a line and also one like that, and flip it, and then we're gonna add this block right here, and we're gonna do this. Then we're gonna select everything, go to edit object, and we're gonna give it, let's say, color 7 because it's free, and we're gonna give it, let's say, red, right? And we're also gonna make it blending, which means it's gonna blend in with the background or whatever is behind it, but right now the background is behind it, so that's what's gonna happen. All right, cool. So now I'm gonna select that again, and I'm gonna copy and paste it. So right now we're just making the visuals of it, and what you want to do is after you selected it, copied and pasted it, go to edit and warp. Or if you're on PC, what you can do is Control T. It's going to enable and disable this one, and now just drag them down like so. I would suggest like moving it away and then clicking on this guy, and then one more time, and then change the color using the hue and make it more like that. Pretty cool. Now copy and paste it again and make it a bit smaller, and this time we're gonna change the color to a more like very bright one. So I would say, yeah, like that sounds cool. All right, so that's a beam, and now we could just copy and paste it like that, but I just want to add everything that we need before actually copying and pasting it. And we're gonna use particles because I think particles, like if you know how to use them, you could create some very beautiful things. I have a full tutorial solely on the particle system, but we're gonna do a simple particle here. So over here, select the particle and add it over there. Click on edit special and go to texture. We're gonna use this one, the very last texture, and we're gonna go to extra, make it start size is equal to end, start spin is equal to end, and then what we're gonna do is go to visual, and we're gonna make it big. All of these numbers have to go to 0. Everything in here is 0 except for this one, right? When I say that, I mean like the upper section, because from here on below, all of it is just color. So when I say everything 0, I mean really just these guys who's talking, okay? And now what I want to do is we want to bring the speed all the way down to 0. We want to make the postvar X 50. We're gonna change this in a bit, but also this one, make it completely 0, and that one, yeah, you can leave that as whatever, doesn't really matter. So all of these 0, but this one as 50. This one we're gonna bring all the way to 0, and then we're gonna click on calc, and what's gonna do is just recalculate everything for us, and nice. Okay, so now we have this, which doesn't look too great, so we're just gonna go ahead and move it like in here. By the way, clicking F4 on your keyboard disables and enables this one. If you're on phone, go over there and where is it? The the particle, this one. Just disable that if you want to. And so we're just gonna change the postvar X until this is actually like 5 blocks wide. And we can just, I don't really know the exact value, so we're just gonna have to kind of increase the value until we see that we have hit the limit that we are looking for. It sounds like 70 might be the correct value. Yeah, cool. All right, so now what we want to do is, now that we have actually finished our particle, what we're going to do is adjust the size as well so that we get the perfect fits, and adjust how many particles we want to have. So maybe let's do 15. Every time you change this, or this, you're going to have to click on calc if you want to have like a particle with no issues, and unless you really know what's going on. But other than that, just clicking this doesn't really do anything unless you actually change this. You see how when I change it, it actually changes the stuff. So we just want to make sure that we have a good particle. And now we're just going to place this like, we want to make sure that this does not go out. So maybe like that sounds good. Click F4 to hide that. And then we're going to copy and paste it, flip it, and then go down maybe like so. And then, yeah, like that sounds pretty good. Actually, I'm going to move them more inwards. Yeah, like that. It's starting to look really good. All right, nice. So now we have created something. However, there's still more to be added. We're just going to keep spicing this up visually until it feels really appealing. I'd say let's add another particle, and this one is going to be a simple one. So we're going to bring the pulsar like again 70, I think, and then that one like that. We're going to choose a texture. This one, we're going to make it kind of big, but not really. So like that, we're going to bring this all the way up, speed a bit, but we're also want to have the friction P over here. I'm going to bring it up, and this is just me like freestyling, seeing what particle looks cool. And this one looks pretty nice. However, I want to have it like really large, so something like that, just so that it looks like it's boiling. Also, we want to have the color as red and kind of orange-ish. Yeah, like that. Maybe a bit more yellow so that we can actually see it more. Yeah, that sounds good. Maybe it's a bit too big, or you can mess around with this one as well. It creates also a much smoother. Yeah, exactly like that. So now it's kind of like boily, which looks pretty cool. You can choose whatever you want if you want to have that or not. It's really your decision. And now we're just gonna copy and paste everything and just do like a big beam like that. And now we have a beam. So this one, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set it like somewhere in here, and then what you want to do is add a object like an X. So this is where the monster is going to be, right? And now this is very important. You want to select everything including the X, click on edit group, next 3, and give them 2, for example. And then you want to click on the X, edit group, and click on P. If everything works correctly, this one should turn to pink, and all of these guys should have a 2 over there. So now if we add a move trigger and do in here 2, and then we target 1, what should happen is what we're saying is we want to move the group ID 2 towards the group ID of 1. So we want to move this entire thing all the way down here, right? That's what it is. And now you guys can see that it worked. It moved it all the way to here. However, the monster moved away, right? We moved the monster constantly. So what we're going to do, we're going to have to enable dynamic mode. And what this is going to do is basically bring it towards this guy, right? So it's basically going to live update the position of it, which is pretty cool. So you could do this and then do silent. Silent means this is all the way at 0. And now you guys can see that it kind of did that. However, we want it to constantly follow you. So we can't really use the move trigger. We have to use the so-called advanced follow trigger. And this one is very complicated, but it's all fine. Just click on edit object. Over here, you want to select 2. So we want to move 2 towards 1. And now if you click on enter, easy peasy, the beam is always on there. However, I like to have it perfect. And now you guys, if you take a look at here, you can see that the monster is kind of on top of the beam, which doesn't really make that much sense. So what we're going to do is select the entire beam, edit object, and then click on B1, and then bring this to 1 or 0 like that. And now if you play, the monster should always be on top of it, which is pretty cool. So now what should we do? We should adjust the position of this X, because this is like the parent. So if you move it over there, you guys are going to see that it's going to be much farther. So it's going to have to go more inwards. However, if we move it like that, it's no longer going to be visible, and we're not going to be able to select it. So we're going to use layers by going to here and just 1 while having the X selected. And now if you click on go to layer, you guys should see that we are on a different layer, and perfect. Now it's over there, and yeah, starting to look phenomenal. Now he is just all of a sudden shooting a beam. However, we're going to move this advanced follow all the way to behind this white white line, and pretty much like every trigger that we added, so that everything just happens on instant before the level even starts, right? So the move trigger, actually I'm gonna move it over there because there are some issues when you like instantly make something follow stuff, it starts breaking. So just do it a bit after the line is also pretty okay. All right, so now we want to hide this guy because we don't want him to be shooting already. We want to kind of disable that and then enable it again. So we're going to use the toggle trigger, and by going to edit object and then clicking on here too, you guys should see that the beam has been disabled. And if you copy and paste this one, go to edit object and activate it, you guys are going to see that as soon as we hit this line, it's going to start activating the thing. Now you guys see that if it activates, the beam doesn't look that great because the particles just haven't really started yet. So what we're going to do is we are going to select one particle and then we're going to move it down a bit. You're going to go to here and make sure that you have select filter on, and then resume, go to delete, click on custom, and then we want to select everything that's in here, right? What this is going to do is select only all the particles. So perfect. And then make sure you go back to delete and click on none. Otherwise you will not be able to select anything. So all right, so all of these particles, we're going to click on edit special extra, and we're going to make them quick start. And what this is going to do is basically just make them start quick, which means they're not like slowly animating. It's just perfect. Now you guys can see, and yeah, phenomenal. Now what we're going to do is the beam doesn't kill us. There isn't really any animations, but we're going to get into that all one by one. So I would say what we're going to do firstly is I'm going to select these two and make them on touch trigger. The reason for that is because this basically means that if the player actually goes and touches this trigger, like if I go up and actually touch it, then it's going to play. And I do that sometimes because I don't want to use these triggers yet, but I'm going to use them later on. So they're basically, you can say, temporarily disabled, but if you touch them, they are going to enable. So since we added them way up top, we're never going to touch them. All right, cool. So I want to do one thing, which is going to be the animations, and it's going to be quite tricky because we're going to use some area triggers, but I think it's going to be fine. We're going to use an area scale, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to a different layer. We're going to add an object. Let's say we're add I don't know, it doesn't really matter what object you add in here, just like the X, you can add an X or whatever. We're going to add the circle. We're going to go to edit group and give that a new group ID of 3 and also 2. So what this is going to do is there's also a circle now alongside the beam, but it also has a group ID of 3, which is pretty cool. So if you add this circle and move it a bit like that, and then we select the area scale that we added over here and click on edit object and then go to center, and this one has to be 3 and this one has to be 2, and select this one, go back and go to the length, do maybe like 5, and then in here 0.01, 0.01, and if you start, you should see that nothing happened, and that is because we need to select the area scale and make sure that we have ignore G parent enabled. What that means is that it's not actually going to take this X into account. I have a full video on that, but that's it basically in short. So if you start now, you guys are going to see that this is getting kind of broken, but it doesn't really matter because we're about to do some pretty cool animations. So we're going to bring this all the way back to here, I would say, so that if we start and the area scale actually activates, it's all going to go invisible. And now if we move this circle to the left, what's going to happen is that it's actually going to start animating this thing and kind of scaling it up. So if you move 3 all the way to the left slowly, we're going to see that slowly this guy is coming into life. So he's basically kind of like shooting. It's very slow and not really cool because I'm just showing it to you guys. I'm just showing what we're doing, and later on we're actually gonna start like really spicing it up. So we just moved this guy to the left, which basically changed the scale of the beam, which is pretty cool. So nice, that's pretty cool. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just quickly add the actual mechanics or the system for dying, because right now you don't really die. So to make sure that you actually die if you touch the beam, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a line of spikes like so, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna select all of them, edit group, and give them 4, and also give them 2 and add them over there. And now if you start, you guys should see that the spikes are right there. And now as soon as the beam actually comes into existence, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move this spike the spike thing alongside the beam so that you actually die if you touch the beam. So we're just gonna copy this one, and the spikes were 4, so we're just gonna do 4. And now you guys should see that alongside the beam, we're gonna die if you actually touch it. Now the spikes look absolutely terrible, but this is how you make things die in GD, so you're gonna have to make them hide so that you cannot see them. And now if we disable ignore damage and actually touch the beam, we're just gonna die, which is exactly what we want. However, it's all very slow, so I would say let's do the pre-animation of this guy before he actually shoots out the beam. So what we're gonna do is we are going to, I would say, let's make him pulse to red a few times. So we're gonna add a pulse trigger, edit object, group, and 1. We're gonna do 0.2 and 0.2, and what this is gonna do is just make him pulse red. We're gonna copy and paste that a few times, 1, 2, 3, and then he's gonna have to like really animate and do the shooting. So I would say let's make him close his mouth before he actually shoots. So we're gonna add an animate trigger. We're gonna see what this guy has of a group ID. In our case, it's 1. We're gonna click the animate, edit object 1, and we're gonna do 1 and see what he's gonna do. Okay, so now he's gonna actually like start shooting, which is not what we want. So just mess around with the animation ID. It is written in here, so big beast, 1 bite, attack, and all this stuff. But what I really want is, yeah, exactly this one. I want him to stop, and then I want him to start doing bite, attack. I think attack is the right one, so 1 like that. Let's see. Yeah, all right, but that was a bit weird. So just adjust the positions of the of everything, and then you guys should see that it's gonna start working. Okay, this is still a bit too early, so we're gonna do like that. Yeah, that was good. Maybe a bit even later. Actually, we're gonna now actually change the duration of this stuff, and we're also gonna use ease out just so that it's a bit smoother. Yeah, like that. Now the animation is a bit too late. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But you guys can see that the animation doesn't really look that smooth, and that's because the area scale should have the ease in and out and maybe a bit of a larger length. And now, yeah, that's much better. Also, this one, just keep making it smaller. It's really all about just adjusting and really fine-tuning everything. Oh, that looked phenomenal. I really like that. That's pretty cool. Okay, is it perfect with the okay, if you guys want to really see if it's perfect, just add a time warp trigger, make it really slow, and now we can really see if he's really, oh yeah, that was good. That was really good. Check this out. So boom, just with the beam, and I feel like it's still a bit too slow. I'm gonna do 0.2. 0.2 should be, yeah, actually the animate I feel like should be a bit later so that he pretty much, yeah, that was good. Okay, now we're gonna get rid of this guy. And so what have we done now? We have added a beam, which looks pretty cool. What we're also gonna do is we're gonna add a bunch of effects and sound effects and all of this stuff, and I would say let's just start with a shockwave. And this one is a bit difficult to use, but it's fine. As soon as you add it, if you have preview shaders enabled, you're gonna see this effect. So we're just gonna adjust some values in here that we actually have the right thing. Now, I don't really know how to use this. I am just adjusting the values so that we get the thing that we want. So what we want is like a very small, yeah, so just like that, but maybe a bit thicker. Yeah, that's a bit too much. Just strength needs to adjust. Yeah, that's perfect. Exactly. That's how you use shaders. Just test it out. And we're gonna make that exactly on the monster. So that's gonna be, we're also gonna make it follow so that it actually starts there. Oh, that was actually phenomenal. It's a bit too slow. I also want, okay, now we're gonna again add a time warp trigger. So because we're looking for perfections, I want this to like all be perfect with the shockwave. Okay, shockwave was way too early. So like that, and then just boom. Yeah, shockwave was a bit too slow and a bit too early, I believe. So now boom. Shockwave starts. So we're gonna do a bit of time off. What this means is that it's actually gonna start a bit later and it's gonna skip the first stuff. So like that, I would say even. Let's see if that's going to look. Yeah, that was better, but it was a bit too early, I feel like. Let's see. Yeah, like that, a bit faster. So just keep adjusting it until you are very happy with the results. All right, let's see this one. This one should, yeah, that was good. That was pretty good. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and delete the thing. And yeah, that's actually so phenomenal. Check this out. So he's shooting stuff. I feel like this, you can always adjust this, and I feel like the strength is a bit low, and maybe this one a bit of adjustment. Yeah, so now it's a bit, now it's actually pretty heavy, maybe. I don't know. Nah, this is all right. Maybe the strength still needs a bit of lower down because we don't want to go too crazy, right? It's just a small attack from my boy. All right, we're also gonna add a bit of shake. So camera shake, just a little bit, duration a bit like that, and that is perfect. Yeah, and let's actually, what else can we add? good. So now he's just basically, we're just doing the animations as of right now. And I just thought of an idea that's actually pretty cool. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a particle. We're gonna add this one. We're gonna go onto a different layer like 3 and add it over here. And we're gonna use these guys. We're gonna make the speed like really high. We're gonna bring this to 0, that one like that, all of this, and then visuals gonna go up, all of this gonna go down, this like that. And now we're gonna have to make it a bit bigger, and I think you guys can already see where this is going. It's about to be really cool, and this kind of makes me want to get rid of those particles because I'm not too happy with how they turn out. So again, we're gonna go here, custom, select all of them, get rid of these ones we want and the other ones we don't really want. So we're just gonna select the ones that we want and actually put them back, and the ones that we don't want, we're just gonna get rid of them like so. You guys go away, and now if we just go to the third layer, and over here we have this one, so I want to replace it with, yeah, that's much cleaner. See, sometimes you just have an idea and it just arrives a bit late, but who cares? Main thing is that you have a W idea. Check this out. Okay, rotation is gonna bring it to 0, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this a bit more particles. This one has to go to 0. Click on calc, and yeah, see, it doesn't last that long, which means the lifetime has to be a bit bigger. Again, we change this one, so calc now, yeah, now sounds good. Okay, so we're gonna copy, well, actually before we copy and paste it, we're gonna make this 1 higher, and this is a cheat code because now it never actually cuts. So when you click calc, it actually goes back to cutting, which is very weird. Check this out. So at one point it's just gonna start doing, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see it on video while rendering, but in the level you're gonna see a weird glitch. So just increase this by 1, and that's just gonna give the game a bit more freedom. And let's see if we put it on here how it's going to look like. So like that looks pretty cool. However, I think I'm gonna make it a bit more visible by just, yeah, like that. Sounds pretty good. Okay, so now we have this. We're gonna give it the group ID of 2 so that it actually follows everything. And now you guys can see that it really feels like he's shooting. And the particles, these ones are also very static. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna select the particles again, click on custom over there, and we're just gonna make them have a speed. And this one's gonna have to go to 0, and that one is gonna be pretty much, yeah, I think 180 is perfect. Yeah, and it's gonna be like really fast. Yeah, something like this looks phenomenal. And we're also gonna play around with this a bit, so I would say something like that. Yeah, looks very cool. And I feel like the speed is still a bit too low, honestly, although it's like max. We're gonna do that perhaps, and yeah, that's much better. We're also gonna move everything to here just so that it looks a bit cleaner, and we're gonna increase the max particles by a bit. And yeah, this looks pretty cool. Let's check it out. Boom, like that. Oh, that's so good. However, they have a different speed. It really comes down to what you really want to have. I feel like those ones might be a bit too much, unless we just make them completely static. If we make them completely static, then it might be okay. So let's choose, maybe these ones could look cool, like a very static thing, maybe like that, even all of it at 0. This one maybe a bit bigger. So we're just gonna add, instead of having that fiery beam thing, we're just gonna add some random some of these guys, just random sparkles or whatever you want to call them. Something like that. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. And I like them to be static because we already have this one moving, which is I think enough instead of having multiple ones. So that's a bit too much. Let's do that. We just want to make them like kind of visible, exactly like that. All right, perfect. So now if he shoots out, it just looks really cool. All right, nice. Okay, so we're gonna change the background color to kind of like pink and kind of dark. I'm gonna change the background to, let's say, that one, just so that the beam just looks a lot cleaner. God, it looks phenomenal. All right, this one's gonna have to go to black, and yeah, it's starting to look pretty good. All right, so now we have an attack. We have everything. Let's actually just add a nice little shooting sound effect. We're gonna add a sound effect, edit object, and in here, we're gonna do like shoots or something, and we're gonna just listen to which one sounds pretty good. I feel like, yeah, this one sounds good. I like to always add multiple sound effects on top of each other. Like this one also sounds pretty good. So he's kind of like shooting, and also there's gonna be like a beam. So we're gonna do beam. Just search what you think it looks like. This one's so terrible. We're gonna do we're gonna just keep searching for the one that actually sounds like what you want. Yeah, this one sounds good. Check this out. So boom, and then it does a bit of that. And also, now we're actually gonna have to like make it go off because it currently just stays on forever. It's gonna shoot a bit and then it's actually just gonna stop. So we're gonna do an animate and I'm gonna bring this to 0, and I'm gonna bring all of these guys to here and make them plus 200 and silent. We're gonna bring them like that, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna make everything go kind of like invisible, and we can do that by going to 2, adding an alpha like that. So yeah, that sounds good. Let's see. So now he shoots and then it kind of goes away instantly. Okay, that was a bit too low of a time, so boom, and then yeah. And now this one actually is a very long sound effect, so we're just gonna play around with the end. So over here, if you change this, you should see the line changing in here, and if you don't see the line, just go over here and duration line, just enable that one. And we want it to kind of end smoothly over here like so. So now he's gonna shoot out a bunch of beams and then it's gonna stop. Actually, I want it to last a bit more, so now boom. Yeah, that was pretty good. We're gonna get rid of the glow on this guy by going to here and getting rid of the glow, and boom. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm also gonna pulse the monster to white like that, and now he's just gonna pulse to white, which just adds a bit more. Also the X, I'm gonna change it to feel like this might be good. A bit to the left might be. Yeah, now it looks cool. Also, we forgot that we actually added a particle, and that should be on B1 over here. And now boom, he's gonna shoot, and we can see the X, which is not cool, so these two should actually be on hide like so, and boom, shooting this guy is just so phenomenal. And what you could also do is go on a different layer and just add, I like to add like indications before the guy actually shoots, and we're just gonna add like these guys. We're gonna make them like really small like so, and we're gonna add lines that which ones do I want? I think I'm gonna use these guys. These guys look pretty cool. So we're gonna use them, and we're gonna do something like that's yeah, I want to have like an area where basically like red, and yeah, we're gonna use the same color over there, and yeah, I think it's starting to look pretty good. So like that, maybe a bit more. We're gonna add 2 more of these guys, select all of them here and align X, so that just looks even better. All right, and the final thing is we're gonna add a glow and another one below it, and we're gonna make everything red, and I'm gonna scale it like so. And now we're gonna go here and here. I'm gonna make it really dark just so that leaves off a very cool thing. Like that looks pretty cool. We're gonna select everything, make it 2 and 5, and we're gonna instantly hide 5 at the beginning, and we're gonna enable 5 in here, and then we're gonna make it go hidden as soon as he actually does this stuff. So check this out. So now there's gonna be a small problem, and the reason is because these guys, the indications, also have the group ID of 2 because they're the beam. But remember, we added the area scale trigger, which means this effect is also going to apply on them, and they're solely going to be enabled when the circle is right there. So that's not cool. So what we're going to do is not give them 2, but let's give them 6, and we're going to copy and paste this one and just do 6 in here so that, yeah, these guys also follow. But now you guys can see that all of them kind of just go towards the monster, which is not exactly what we want. So we're going to have another X object just for these guys. Actually, I'm going to use this one and just make it the parent of 6. And now, yeah, now we have an indication, which looks pretty cool. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think having... Okay, first of all, I'm actually going to make this a bit smoother at the end because I don't like how it looks. So we're going to add this edge thing, and we're going to make it, how big is it? 2.28. So 2.28, like so, sounds pretty good. And we're going to move it a bit to make sure that it fits perfectly. Also the perfect color by going here, and phenomenal. And one last touch is that I'm gonna add this one just to make it have a smoother end at the end like that. Sounds pretty good. And the X in here, I feel like should be in there. Let's do this one is the parent. By the way, if you switch this one to the parent, this one is automatically not gonna be the parent anymore. So hide, and yeah, phenomenal. So now these guys are 5, and we're just gonna repeat the thing that we did. So 5 hide, and in here, wait, 5 hide instantly, and in here show slowly, and then hide. So now he's gonna show, and yeah, pretty cool. Nice. That's phenomenal looking. And what we're gonna also do is we're gonna pulse the background to kind of like reddish like that, which is pretty simple to do, but it's very effective, as you guys saw. This is very, very cool. And yeah, now we have an attack. We have a full attack, and we're just gonna move everything that we have regarding the beam all the way way to here because we don't want to mess with that. And these guys, we can remove them. We don't really need them now, I realize. And we can just move all this stuff up, and we're going to give all of these that are responsible for the attack, we're going to give them the group ID of 7. And we're going to go to edit object and give them both spawn and multi-trigger while having everything selected. And now if you start, nothing is going to happen until you spawn group 7. So all of these guys are 7, so you want to go 7. And now as soon as you trigger this one, it's going to do everything at once, which is not what we want. We want to go to the spawn and click spawn ordered. And now it's going to do exactly that, and boom. Awesome. That is so cool. So now we have this trigger that once you add, it's going to just start beaming out. So in here, he's going to start boom. He's going to beam, and in here as well. That's so phenomenal. But you guys saw that there was a bug, and that is because you want to make sure that every time you end the attack, it goes back to its original state. And in this case, that did not happen. So we're just going to analyze exactly why that is, and we really want to make sure that everything goes back to its original state as it was before the attack happened. So you guys remember how when he's like stopping the beam, how the beam kind of fades away? However, we never really specified for the beam to come back to life again. So he's just fading away and never ever coming back. So we're gonna add one over there, and we're gonna make him actually fade in like that. And what this is gonna do is make him shoot, and now he's gonna fade in, and now again another shootouts, which is phenomenal, perfect looking, and very, very fun. So now what I want to do is I'm just gonna actually give this guy I'm gonna make them like 1 and the parent, and I'm gonna add a particle on him, and this one's gonna be very cool. I think a lot of you guys are really gonna like it. It's very, very simple, but just follow what I'm doing. It's pretty self-explanatory. So settings like that, all at 0, however this one 50. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this to 8 and do that, and we're gonna bring fade in and fade out a bit like so. And you guys can, I think, already see where this is going. And yeah, I think using this makes a lot of sense. And we're gonna make this a bit bigger, maybe 70, and we're gonna make the lifetime a bit bigger. That was good already. Let's do the particles a bit lower, and I just want to make like a charging animation, which I think is going to be very cool. That's a bit too slow, so let's do that perhaps. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Also always have the max particles pretty high out, and now he's kind of charging. We're gonna make it really big. And this one, how long is this gonna last? So from here we bring this to 0, we can see how long this lasts. So a second and 2, so 1.2. I'm gonna go to the particle. In here we want to do 1.2, and we're gonna go in here, animate on trigger, activate on animate only, and quick start. And we're gonna give this particle a 1 and an 8. Now there is a small problem because in here we're already animating 1, which is not that great. So we're gonna give this monster a group ID of 9, and in here we're gonna switch all of these guys to animate 9 instead. And in here is where actually if we just make this 1, I think this is like a smart yeah, wait, that worked. That's so cool. Okay, so in here we're animating 1, which is animating the particle and also the monster, which I think is pretty cool. So we're gonna add this behind. I think would make it look really cool. Oh, that's phenomenal. It's a bit too long though, so just mess around with the length of it too, and yeah, phenomenal. Now it's still a bit too long. I feel like that. Yeah, it's starting to look really, really cool. And now if we bring this like that, it should start. Yeah, phenomenal. All right, perfect. Now we have a full beam shooting effect with a trigger, which means we can do it whenever we want. So now we're gonna move the monster a bit. We're gonna move him up and down, and we can do that by just moving 1. So if we just move 1 up like so, and now he's just gonna shoot, and oh, that was actually pretty cool. So check this out. So boom, shoot out. Okay, so I'm gonna make him like kind of go up and then shoot, and then we're gonna make him go down and then shoot again. All right, so my boy is gonna go down and go up and then shoot and then down and then shoot, and then I'm gonna make him rotate now. So I want him to rotate 1 against 1 a bit, maybe like 20 degrees should sound good. And I don't know if this is the right direction, honestly. I always have to check if this is actually the right one. Let's see. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, I forgot to actually make him attack again, so we're gonna do that. However, is that gonna work? I'm not too sure. It might work, it might not work. Let's check it out. So now he's gonna rotate and he's gonna shoot out. However, it's not right, and that's because these guys are actually not following the direction of it. And now if you do it, there, yeah, issues, of course. This is very buggy as of right now, the rotate direction. So what you could do is add a rotate trigger, and in here add 2 and 2, and I believe aim, or was it follow? I keep forgetting, but we want to do in here, we want to do 1 and dynamic mode and infinite. And now if we play, this should not change anything. However, I'm going to bring this rotate back so that we can instantly see if this is working. And yeah, the beam works. So now just copy and paste this one. And instead of 2, we want to do 6. And in here 6, we want to do both of them. And now you guys can see that everything changes. So this is a bug. It should be pretty easy and just you should be able to do just rotate direction, but it doesn't work. You have to add a separate trigger to make the beam follow the rotation of the monster, right? This is the explanation for this trigger. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. So now we can move this back here and let's actually give it a few tries and see how cool this is. So down and beam, and then rotate and then beam. Oh, ooh, there's now an issue. You guys saw that? So the spikes are weird and they did not really work as intended. So we're gonna enable the hitboxes and we're gonna see exactly what the heck is going on. So the hitboxes are there, and now it's gonna go up, and now it's rotating, and now it's gonna shoot out. But this guy did not really work, and the reason for it makes a lot of sense, honestly. And it's because of the way we are moving the circle and the spikes. So we said we want to move everything to the left. However, if you're like, if the monster is kind of like rotating like that, and the beam is like so, it's a bit complicated, but I think you guys will get it. So if it's like that, then we cannot move the spikes just to the left, right? We have to move them up. So it is now very complicated, and you might say, what the heck, how do I do this? But there is actually a very simple way to do it. So instead of moving them to the left, we're just gonna move them towards a point that is always at the end of the beam, no matter where the beam is. So sounds complicated, but check this out. So we're gonna do a new layer, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna add let's add this one again. We're gonna give it 2 so that he always follows. And what we're gonna do, I'm gonna add this right here, and from here we're gonna do 1 2 3 4. The reason for that is because we're actually moving 3 by 200 to the left. 200 is exactly 4 times this, right? So now this is where we want it to be, and we're gonna give this a new group ID of 10. So now instead of moving 3 towards the left by 200, we're just gonna move it towards the 10 that we just added, and this should work phenomenally. Check this out. So if you move the circle also on here, it should start working. And yeah, so now it kind of did that, and we're gonna make him rotate instantly to see if it's actually working, and we don't want to move as of right now, so rotate and then go up. Yep, that seems like it worked for the animation. However, the spike wall is 4 and this one is 4, which means we are gonna have to do this one as well. So actually I'm just gonna delete this one and copy and paste and just do 4 because it's the exact same thing. And now boom, you guys saw that the spike wall actually went exactly where we wanted to go. And if you are unsure and really want this to be perfect, just add a time warp on complete 0.1, and now you guys can see that the spikes are right there and he's going to shoot out. We want to make sure that the hitboxes are actually on point. Oh my god, they are phenomenal actually. Okay, but they are kind of short, so what you want to do is just F6 to show the hidden objects, and then like that. All right, now we can see, okay, this is actually a bit too long. Let's do it in here, and now you guys should see that he's gonna shoot out the spike wall directly towards the end of the beam, including the spikes. Yeah, and they lasted, but this is phenomenal. Exactly perfect. Okay, F6 to hide or to show the hidden objects. Again, hide invisible if you're on phone. And what else? Okay, now there's a small issue because we moved them towards there, but then we're moving them back using the old strategy, so that's not cool. So we're gonna have to do the opposite of this one, which you could, I'm gonna try this. I'm not too sure if this is going to work, but we're just gonna do direction mode and we're gonna do -200. This is probably not going to work, but let's just give it a try and see exactly what's going to happen right here. So if we just start and do boom, yeah, no, is it going to go back? Yeah, no. Let's do 4 so that we can actually see exactly what's going on. So now it should start going back. Wait, it actually worked. Let's go. Wait, this actually works. Okay, so then let's just do 3 and 4 at the same time. All right, so all of it is on spawn multi-trigger. These two are over there, and yeah, I think think this is we're starting to get to the end. However, sometimes there's going to be like a weird like hitbox issue, but if that happens, always remember that you can always add a position to where this spike wall is going to head towards. So we're gonna add a new object, and this is gonna be like the place where the spike wall is just gonna go back to. So we're gonna add this heart. We're gonna do 11. 11 is a parent, and this one is gonna be 4 parent. We're gonna move 4 towards 11 at the end. So 4 towards 11 at the end, right? And we're also gonna move 3 towards 11 at the end. And this should work if we do silent as well. And now go up, shoot out, and then bring back the thing and shoot again and go. Oh my god, I think this is finally working phenomenally. All right, so let's just disable this, go back here, make him go down, and then we're gonna do a beam, and then we're gonna make him let's make him go up again, and then we're gonna make him rotate the other way around. So right now we did +20, now we're gonna do -40 like that, and then he's gonna shoot. So let's see, maybe the difference in here should be a bit larger so we don't get any issues with the... All right, cool. So now he's shooting. Oh, that was terrible. Okay, so just enable this one as always and just check for any issues with the hitboxes to see that the thing is always actually working. All right, seems like it is. Check this out. All right, he's shooting. All right, and now, oh, that's actually so cool. Oh my god, I've never done such a cool boss fight. Like this is pretty cool. Okay, so one thing that's very important is that you choose these two and actually make dynamic mode, and this time that means that they're always gonna like follow the exact position of the heart that we added so that there are no issues. Oh my god, he is actually like shooting while rotating. That was gonna sick. Okay, in here we're gonna do actually let's do +20 so that he goes back to normal. So he does that, shoot and then go down, and then he's gonna shoot, just charge and then shoot, and then up and then shoot and then charge and then shoot, and then yeah, that was good. Also to shoot these guys and make them dynamic mode just for sure. And now boom, shoot out this beautiful beam, and boom, yeah, it works. All right, cool, shoot again. Nice, I love it so much, so cool. All right, we forgot one very crucial thing, which is to make the heart that we added in here, to actually make it also 2, because otherwise it's not gonna follow the beam, which is a big issue. So now everything should work phenomenally. Okay, I'm just gonna move this like that, and this one like so that we actually fade out, and then we do the thing. All right, check this out. All right, cool, and then charge, and then smoke, and then go up, and then boom, and then while you're going up, go down, and then boom. Oh, that was so good. All right, so very important thing is that this gameplay is terrible. Like this is not meant to be a gameplay tutorial for boss fights, because you can see that I'm expecting him to shoot up in here, but then all of a sudden he starts shooting down, which is very, very bad. So you should add like kind of indications in here that, I don't know, like you should not be here, otherwise people are not gonna like your level. So yeah, or you can like add more creative ways for the like indications as well. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool. All right, so you can choose this one to attack with the boss as much as you want. You can edit stuff in here if you want to add more sound effects. Just make sure that you add it with the group ID of 7, and also this one and that one enabled. So yeah, I think that's it. Let's just give it a try in normal mode and see how that's going to be. I'm just gonna add this one, also select everything and make it on don't fade, don't enter, and let's give it a try. So this one, almost 400 objects, very close, and yeah, I'm just gonna restart a few times, and now boom. Oh my god, this is so cool. Okay, one thing I saw is that this one does not have hide. I'm gonna make it hidden. All right, check this out. So now if we play, we should see the monster, and he's gonna charge, and then he's gonna shoot, and then he's gonna go down, he's gonna charge, and then he's gonna shoot, and he's gonna rotate, and then he's gonna charge, and boom. Oh my god, this is so phenomenal. This is so cool. This is actually so fire. I love it. So make sure you use this wisely and make sure it looks cool with the gameplay and all. And I'm going to upload this just because I just verified it. And feel free to watch this tutorial and again. And I have a playlist for all the tutorials that you guys want. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Watch one of those videos that is on the screen, and I will see you guys in the next